What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hit the Books podcast. For episode 33, we got a great review of the NFL draft, lots of NBA and NHL playoff action going on. Let's get right into it and introduce my co-hosts, Huff and Mackie. Mackie, why don't you start us off this week?
Going on, boys? Got a lot to talk about this week with a lot of NFL. You got the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, so a lot to talk about this week.
Take it away, Huff. What's happening, buddy?
What's going on? Back for another week, episode 33, as you said. Like Mackie said, a lot to get into. NFL draft, NHL, and NBA playoffs. A little bit of MLB news coming out this week, and another week in sports. Favorite time of year, honestly, for me. NHL, NBA playoffs, get some baseball in the action. Love this time of year.
Great time of the year. Huff, do you want to lead us off in our draft talk?
Yeah, we're gonna get right into the NFL draft. A couple of the big moves coming out. Obviously, we saw, going into this NFL draft, everyone was talking about how it wasn't too hyped up of a draft. It wasn't very, there wasn't a lot of star-studded guys. Like, obviously, there's a year where one quarterback goes in the first round. Is a year usually that doesn't get too many, good reviews. ESPN and all these NFL draft analysts, they like to see all the quarterbacks go in the top 5, and obviously this year we saw all defense go in the top 5, which is a first time in NFL draft history that 5 defensive players were selected in the top 5 picks. So definitely a lot coming out of this NFL draft. Also, we heard a lot of the trades getting called around. This was the first time. There was 9 trades in the first round of the NFL draft, the most in the first round since 2004. So a lot of teams moving around, moving up, moving back, getting players, obviously a couple big names moving around. Debo staying with the 49ers. Obviously that's not set in stone, but not going anywhere on draft night or draft weekend. A lot to get into. One of the trades to start us off was the Ravens trading star wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown and a 3rd-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals in exchange for the 23rd overall pick. In this year's draft, the Ravens then traded the 23rd overall pick to the Buffalo Bills, who utilized that pick to select cornerback Kaiir Elam from Florida, who actually was a pretty nice player for Florida. He missed some time, but good pick for the Bills, who address, one of their couple problems with the defensive backs. I know they have guys like Trey White, Micah Hyde, but they're looking to get some depth players with a very tough, the skill team that Buffalo has, and obviously they're Super Bowl hopes going into next year, looking to address some of the minor issues that team has, and they went out and got a defensive player that they needed. Mackie, what do you think about Hollywood going to Arizona? I guess we'll start with that.
Yeah, I don't really know much about this cornerback from Florida, but I think this is really good for this Cardinals team, especially if with DeAndre Hopkins out 6 games, you need someone to fill in. But when he gets back, this wide receiver duo is going to be lethal, especially with Kyler Murray and his ability to run the ball. So, you can't really double team these guys. You can't double team both of them at least. So it'll be good for them in a tough division.
Yeah, and the news coming out that DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 games of the season with the suspension for PEDs, or for the NFL's violation of the performance-enhancing drug policy, however you want to word it. But yeah, I think Hollywood's going to be a good fit in Arizona. Obviously, with the run-heavy offense that you get in Baltimore, receivers tend to not get a lot of touches. But it seemed like whenever he was getting the ball in Baltimore, it was a lot of the vertical routes and the deep routes that Lamar was kind of able to just send the ball up in the air and Hollywood would go and get it. But I'm interested to see what he's able to do with a quarterback with a better arm in Kyler Murray. But like you said, with D-Hop on the other side of the field, or Kyler Murray under the gun. James Conner had a nice season last year. Zach Ertz. Arizona has a nice little team. I think Chase Edmonds actually left in free agency. I could be wrong. But, they still have everyone on the defensive side of the ball. They lost Chandler Jones. They still have J.J. Watt and Budda Baker. But Arizona playing in a tough division, and, they address one of their issues, I guess. I don't know. Like, if I was a team and you traded away your first-round pick and you brought in Hollywood Brown, like, I guess I'm excited about that, but like Hollywood Brown's not necessarily like one of those receivers. I'm like, damn, we went and got Hollywood Brown. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
he's not like Debo, like,
that's what I mean. Like,
for example,
or AJ Brown going to Philly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not like, but I mean, obviously I think the Ravens, I don't know if they necessarily won that trade. I think it was more of a money move, and then they moved back in the draft, kind of just getting more in assets later on, but.
Yeah,
I'm
I think it was mutual. I think both teams kind of benefited from that trade. Marquise
Yeah.
Brown wanted out of Baltimore, so
Every receiver wants out of there after 5 years.
yeah, it's tough in that system, especially with Lamar at the quarterback position now.
Yeah. A guy like Debo would be so good there. That's been saying that for weeks. Like, I don't know how they're not the front runner to get him now that they just got rid of him.
I don't
You
know.
know, you know what I mean? Like, he would fit. I
Yeah,
know he keeps saying all this. I don't want to play running back, but like, dude, you go to Baltimore and you play half running back, half receiver. They're untouchable. Lamar
yeah. I
Jackson,
don't know why he's being so stubborn about that.
because he wants to get like Le'Veon and all these guys are telling him like, you dude, they're only going to pay you as one position. Like, Debo wants to get paid as a receiver because he knows he's not going to get paid as a receiver and a running back because he would have to set the market for, you know what I mean? Like, basically, like, what he wants to be paid as a top class wide receiver or a top tier wide receiver, and then like a mid range running back. What do you do? Give him, I don't know, what does Devontae Adams make? Like 18, 20 million, 25 million? I don't even know.
Yeah, I
And
think it
then
is
what are
like
you? And then what are
2030.
you gonna? Yeah, and then what are you gonna do? Add 9 million on top of that because he also plays running back. Like, that's what these players and the teams are kind of indirectly telling him. They're like, dude, we're not paying you as both positions. So like, a lot of these guys are being like, Debo, don't even kill yourself carrying the ball. Just go play wide receiver, get paid every Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, don't kill yourself. You know, don't
Yeah,
do
but
2 months.
I think taking that aspect away from his game makes him a lot less valuable of a player. He's nothing. I
I
don't think
agree.
he's as special if he's not playing both positions.
I agree.
It's just the fact that the reason that he is so special is because
It's because he
you can
plays running
incorporate
back.
him in you can incorporate him in any single play in the offense,
It's
any
like
single
Cordell
play.
Patterson in Atlanta right now.
Yeah. He's just except Debo's obviously a little more
I know, but I'm saying it's a
athletic and
similar situation. It's a wide receiver that found the running back position and ability to just get the ball in their hands, and them just be a playmaker and a freak athlete. Where you have to get them on the ground, and they're just a better athlete than you. So they're like, I'm comparing Debo and Cordell Patterson. I'm just more using their position
their
kind of
their
situation right now.
situations. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like it works out for a lot of guys. Debo obviously being a much better wide receiver, but you got to remember when Cordero was a lot younger, he was like that kind of flashy player
yeah,
in Minnesota.
yeah. That's true.
They remind me a lot of each other. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously Cordero Patterson's had a lot of injuries.
I just think after watching Debo in the playoffs that
He's so good though.
his value to an organization as like a dual threat
That's what I
player
mean.
is just
If he would be a dual threat player, imagine what Green Bay or Baltimore would pay San Francisco for him.
exactly. He should just go. He should go play with Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know why that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, either of those teams should be the front runners, and neither of them are. The Jets. Like, I get you want to play with your coach, dude, but don't you want to
And
win a
end
Super
his
Bowl?
career.
Just doesn't make sense. But obviously, the main coming out of the NFL draft, the number one overall pick, Jacksonville Jaguars select Georgia tight or defensive end Trayvon Walker, and then obviously the Detroit Lions sitting at number 2 go with Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end from Michigan, who was the kind of favorite to go number 1 overall all summer or all off season long, I guess you would say, and
Until about a
Trayvon.
week before.
Yeah, until about a week before Trayvon Walker ends up jumping him and ends up going 1 to the Jags.
Yeah, I mean Trayvon Walker was obviously a huge part of that best defense in the country last year, the Georgia Bulldogs. So you know what he brings to the table. You know what he has to offer. But I don't know. I don't know much about Aiden Hutchinson. I didn't watch a lot of Michigan football this year.
Yeah. I watch a lot of. I feel like a lot of his like highlights on ESPN and stuff like that with Michigan, but Michigan didn't. I mean, he had a nice year, and I watched him in the college football playoff. He had a nice game, but obviously, going from Michigan to Detroit, it's a cool story. We've had you see a couple of those throughout the draft with the Steelers with Pickett, but yeah. So Jaguars get their guy, their star pass rusher, and the Lions get their guy. So we already talked about some of the receivers moving around. I mentioned wide receiver A.J. Brown getting traded from the Tennessee Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for the 18th overall pick and a third-round pick in this year's draft. Brown would then immediately sign a 4-year, $100 million extension with the Eagles. Like, literally 10 minutes after the deal was announced, that deal got announced.
Yeah, I think this is really big for the Eagles. They needed that star-studded receiver.
I just hate the Eagles. I just never think they're going to be good.
Yeah, they're not going to be like too good this year. I still think Dallas wins this division.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. Like AJ Brown, like $100 million for AJ Brown, $25 million a year. I'm not paying him that.
Feels
Did
like
he
a lot.
request a trade?
Huh?
Was he requesting for a trade?
Basically, he did everything but walk in the front office and say I want to be traded.
Yeah.
So what it was his agent that I think his name's like Tony Danby or something. He's the same guy that represents Debo, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf. So the same dude represents all four of these star receivers, and it just turns out that 3 of the 4 are unhappy with their contracts right now and want traded.
Yeah.
One already got traded and got his new deal, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with McLaurin and what happens with Debo. Obviously, we know what's going on with him. He's very vocal about wanting out of San Francisco, so I'm
I
interested
heard
to
it's
see what
not going to
happens with
happen,
those
though.
guys. I think they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Do you think he holds out?
No.
I think he'll play too. I just think he's going to be a little bitch about the plays they call. He's not going to play running back.
You think so?
Mhm.
I mean, I think he's going to be like, they all feel a little entitled, so obviously he's going to he's going to do something. Like, he's not going to be like all in on this team, but he's going to go out in the field every game.
Yeah.
Still show what he's worth.
Especially because it looks like they're keeping Garoppolo. Like, you guys could run the same system next year. Why wouldn't it work?
It got you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl or
NFC Championship.
Yeah, NFC Championship game.
But Ohio State star wide receivers Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave hear their names called in back-to-back picks, with Wilson being selected 10th overall by the Jets and Olave going 11th overall to the Saints. Jets had a nice draft, getting Sauce Gardner 4th and then Garrett Wilson 10th. Like I said, I was bashing the Jets a couple minutes ago, but I just am not a Zach Wilson fan. But they have some nice players coming in with Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I would say Jets had one of the best drafts in the NFL this year. I mean, you have the 4th and the 10th pick, but you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. And obviously, you can't. Obviously, we don't know what any of these players are gonna do, but like, I love when they give teams like a draft grade, like a letter grade. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you're literally you're basing that letter grade off of where Todd McShay and Mel Kiper had that player supposed to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Some of those were so ridiculous.
All that shit is all bullshit.
It's so stupid, but like, I love it. Like, I like to be like, the Steelers got an A, that's good. I'm hype. You know what I mean?
But if they get an F, this is all fake.
Yeah, you're like, dude, this is such bullshit. Who's writing this? It's like a win-win. You're never worried about it. Green Bay Packers then select Georgia inside linebacker Quay Walker late in the first round, electing to yet again not get Aaron Rodgers, their guy. Then they had another pick later on in the second round. They go with Georgia defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt, 28th overall. Packers make history with this selection, being the first team to ever select 2 defensive players from the same school in the same round of the NFL draft. Packers, with these 2 selections, also choose to yet again not get Aaron Rodgers' weapons he needs in the first round, while boosting the defensive side of the ball in Green Bay. The offense is looking for weapons with the departures of Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They did end up going out and getting, I forget the name of the receiver they got in the second round, Christian Wilkins, I believe is his name. I forget where he's from, but he's supposedly a pretty nice receiver. They did move up to get him early on in the second round, so they did go get Rodgers, a weapon, but yet again, the ongoing joke is the Packers' only first-round offensive player that they've picked in the past so many years is Jordan Love. So, yet again, another year they don't go get a receiver in the first round, even though they do early on in the second. Mackie, what do you think of this? You still think Debo could go there? I know we just said he might stay, but
I don't think anybody's going to offer the Niners what they want. at this point. So I think Debo's not going to go there. But
Dude,
I don't know. I think
what do they want? He's not Devontae Adams. He's not DeAndre Hopkins.
somebody offered him. I think the Jets offered him like the 4th pick or something for him straight up, and they said no.
I wouldn't have taken that either.
Yeah, that's not really a good offer, but
4th and 10th, yeah. I would have taken their first round. I'd be like 4th and 10th.
especially for a guy that wants out, you got to get rid of him sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Get something for it at least.
Yeah, you got to get rid of him. And my Pittsburgh Steelers select Pitt quarterback, ACC Player of the Year, Heisman finalist Kenny Pickett with the 20th overall pick. Pickett, coming from the University of Pittsburgh, already has a large following in the city. The Steelers passing up on Liberty quarterback Malik Willis, who I was talking about. I wanted them to go with, making my take look almost stupid, but who eventually would end up drafted 86th overall by the Tennessee Titans, being the 3rd quarterback taken. I'll start. I'm excited for Pickett. It's definitely his spot to lose going into camp. I saw something today that Kevin Colbert said that Trubisky and Rudolph, he couldn't say that they were, I forget how he worded it, he couldn't say they were or that they weren't upset about the draft pick, but it's kind of the same thing with Malik Willis' situation in Tennessee, with Ryan Tannehill saying that it's not his job to mentor him. So, Mackie, do you see that?
Ryan Tannehill just said, because honestly, I don't disagree with him.
You don't say that though.
Yeah, but like he's not an Aaron Rodgers or like someone. He's not like a veteran quarterback that's on his way out. Like he wants to be the starter for the next like 10 years. And then you just draft a quarterback that has high potential and everyone's talking about. Like, I'd be kind of tight too. You are playing for a starting spot.
When I saw that, I was like, if I'm Malik Willis, I'd be like, I don't want to learn anything from you. You haven't won anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like a bad thing to say to the media, but like, you can have that attitude. But like, you probably shouldn't like portray yourself like that.
It just makes him look so bad, because now he goes to any team with a young quarterback sitting behind him. It's like, well, now you know he's not going to help him develop. It's like, not necessarily, like, yeah, exactly. It's not their job to do that. Like, it's not Trubisky's job to help Pickett right now, but they're fighting for a job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like
they're fighting for a job.
Ryan Tannehill's not this legendary quarterback who like should be mentoring Malik Willis.
That's what I mean. Like, no one's expecting Trubisky to be like, hey, Pickett, this is what you want to do here. This is what you want to do on 3rd down. It's like, Trubisky, you went to the playoffs 1 year with the Bears. You didn't win shit. So
because of the defense.
Yeah, you didn't win anything. So I don't really want you talking to Pickett too much in the film room. You know what I mean? I know you were a 2nd overall pick, but like, even in North Carolina, like, he wasn't even that crazy. I don't know how he was a 2nd overall pick, but whoever we go with, I think Pickett's the starter. But you don't spend the 20th overall pick on a guy and not give him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you draft him unless you're planning on starting him.
Jesse, what do you think? Steelers get Pickett.
I do think Pickett's going to start. I mean, I think Tomlin's going to make it seem like there's a battle, but I think at the end of training camp, he's definitely going to be like Pickett starting preseason, something around that time.
I got to go to the first preseason game. That'll be so fun. I hope it's home.
What are the tickets to that?
What's that?
Okay, what do the tickets cost to like preseason game?
Usually, you can get them really cheap. Like,
yeah, preseason's real cheap.
Like $20.
Yeah,
you can get in for $20. You can sit down low for probably 45, 50.
I was gonna say like 45. Yeah, you can get really good seats. I mean, it's still the Steelers. You know what I mean? It's still the NFL. It's never gonna be like a Pirate game.
It's not really the Steelers because it's not like
it's the practice
the
squad.
people you want to watch are actually playing.
Yeah, it's the practice squad. Move on to a division rival, the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, selecting Michigan safety Daxton Hill with the 31st overall pick. Bengals obviously addressed their issues with the offensive line via free agency, but they go out and get their safety that they needed. Obviously, everyone knew the defensive backs for Cincinnati were a weak point for them. Obviously, Eli Apple, I believe they re-signed him, if I'm not mistaken. Mackie, do you know that for sure?
Sorry, would you say that again?
Did the Bengals re-sign Eli Apple? I think they did.
Yeah, they did. They gave him a 3-year deal, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And then they go out and draft him, so they're just looking to boost the defensive side of the ball right now. But obviously, Apple, the year that he had in the playoffs that he had, getting torched. But he made a couple big plays, but got torched most of the playoffs. And then Georgia becoming the first school to ever have 5 players selected in the first round from the defensive side of the ball. In the first round, that's crazy.
It just showed you how good that defense actually was.
Yeah. That puts on perspective just like, okay, 5 of your 11 starters on defense went in the first round. And it's not even to say, I don't know how many of the guys went in the second and third, you know what I mean, the rest of the draft.
Yeah, defense was just insane.
Yeah. We'll get on. Jesse, you want to get into some of this other NFL news?
Yeah, lots of good stuff coming out of the NFL. New Orleans Saints signing former Pro Bowl and Super Bowl champion safety Tyrann Mathieu.
Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, going home, obviously from New Orleans and played for LSU. It was kind of a matter of time before he ended up as a New Orleans Saint. I feel like him and
We all knew it was coming.
him and Jarvis Landry obviously both eyeing up visits with the Saints. We saw a couple weeks ago Matthew outside of the Saints practice facility, and then we hear the buzz of Jarvis Landry visiting there, and they draft Olave. It would be nice to get Jameis a couple of weapons and Landry and Olave. Obviously, the big question mark every year around next to Michael Thomas's name on the depth chart, never knowing what he's going to do. But yeah, Matthew lands in New Orleans, goes home, former Super Bowl champion. I think that's a good move for him. I don't think too much is going to come of the Saints next year, but still think he's a top tier player of his position.
Yeah, I just think if this team wants to make moves like this and sign Jarvis Landry well, now they have Tyrann Mathieu, they should probably figure out something with Jameis Winston. I don't really think he should be the starting quarterback of a team that's trying to build a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah, I agree.
Steelers elect not to pick up the 5th-year option on Devin Bush. Bush was slated to make $11 million in his 5th year with the Steelers.
Yeah, I'll start with this one. I am very glad that they elected not to pick up this deal. Sometimes, obviously, the Steelers selecting Devin Bush with the 10th overall pick a couple years ago, trading up to get him. Sometimes in the NFL, you just have to cut your losses. It hasn't worked out. Whether you point to the ACL injury that Bush had in his second year, he looked very good before the injury and kind of looked very timid the past couple seasons. You could blame the injury, whether it's the confidence or whether it's just the actual skill that he has as an NFL linebacker. But sometimes you have to cut your losses in the NFL, and I'm glad that the Steelers are, looking to part ways with him, obviously. But whenever I see stuff like this, so the Steelers release this, they're like, all right, we're not going to pick up his 5th-year deal. That doesn't give me any confidence about him in our lineup in his 4th year. You know what I mean? Like if you
Right, that's like them putting a note of confidence, them telling him he's not going to come back.
He has to bet on himself, basically. If he does good, they're willing to, basically risk to have to pay him more than $11 million, because if he does better than that, they're gonna have to give him a deal. But I don't know. I just feel like if they think it's the knee or the confidence, I don't want him in the lineup in his 4th year, let alone his 5th year.
Cardinal star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins gets suspended 6 games for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing drugs. I couldn't really find too many details on what he actually did, but it went through early this past season, something last season. I'm not really sure.
He said on his Twitter that him and his team are going to be investigating what happened. He said he's a very holistic person about what he puts into his body, and made a big deal about it on Twitter, and then said see you in week 7. But yeah, I couldn't really find too much about what they said he was taking or had in his system whenever he got the test. But I'm sure, obviously, he said whenever he finds out, he'll be very open about what it was.
Yeah, I found it interesting, so hope to see more come out of that.
All right, we'll look back at some of these this is one thing I wanted to look at. Obviously, I said with Kenny Pickett being the only quarterback selected in the first 2 rounds, I wanted to see if the Steelers elected to go in a route other than Pickett. Do either of you think that we would have seen a scenario where Pickett would have maybe gotten drafted late in the first round after the Steelers throughout the second round? Obviously, we saw Ritter be the second overall or the second quarterback taken. I believe he went 74th to the Falcons. Yeah, 74th overall to the Falcons in the third round. So no quarterback falling in the first 2 rounds other than Pickett. And then just wanted to do you guys think maybe you would have seen him go in the first or second round? I know I think obviously I don't think Pickett would have fell to the third.
I kind of think he would. I mean, I don't think Pickett had really anything over these other guys. Hence, like, why they were all like not projected to be high overall, high picks. But like, what if you guys went with Malik Willis? And I don't know. I feel like if he wanted to, if he was that much ahead of everybody else, he would have been talked about more in that situation. I mean, you
I
guys,
feel like it was like I don't know why I thought that they were going Malik Willis the whole time. Like I almost basically a lot of people were saying Pickett the entire time in Pittsburgh, obviously like with the connection, but like there was a lot of draft boards had us taking him, and I just kind of kept ignoring it because I wanted a running quarterback, but obviously like the jersey sale pick, and you're gonna put the asses in the seats, but I don't know. I feel like you would have seen a team like Carolina where they ended up kind of settling for a guy like Corral, or I don't even know where Sam Howell went, but these teams that selected guys like that, I feel like they would have just made a move like, here's a third and a seventh. We'll take your late second round pick or whatever, or 2/3 or something, and move up and get them. I mean, obviously that's a very hypothetical situation. We're never going to be able to figure it out, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I feel like it's interesting any year that you see quarterbacks fall like that, but it'll be interesting to see if the Steelers made the pick with the right guy.
yeah, hopefully they did. Yeah, it was crazy how no quarterbacks were picked in the first 2 rounds, or just Pickett was picked in the
Really,
first
none
two
in the
rounds.
second round. Really, none in the second round.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff coming out of the NBA. The playoffs are in full swing. Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors series tied 1-1. John Morant goes off for 47 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists in Game 2 victory against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors to tie the semifinals at 1 game apiece. What do you guys got for this round?
Obviously, John Morant with the huge game, Game 2 for the Warriors, 47 points. Kind of putting the team on his back. Golden State taking Game 1. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this series. I still like the Warriors to come out of this in 6. I think the Warriors will come take Game 3, but Mackie, I think you're on the same side. I think you like the Warriors of this series, but definitely a huge performance by John Morant in Game 2.
Yeah, I honestly think this is over in 5. I figured Memphis was going to take one at home. I think Golden State sweeps at home, and then I maybe Memphis can win Game 5 in Memphis, but
Yeah, I think it'll be 3-1. Memphis wins 5 at home.
you think it's going to be a good game, but I don't think Memphis matches up very well against the Warriors. Obviously, I don't know if you watched that game last night, but John Morant absolutely couldn't be stopped. So they win games like that, but he's gonna have to do it every other game if they want a chance. So
I think he can do something. Not obviously 47, 8-8, but I think you have another game where he kind of does his thing, and you see the high scoring points. But and then also in that game too, we had Memphis guard Dylan Brooks getting ejected, getting for a flagrant 2 foul that was called that he committed on Warriors guard Gary Payton II, who suffered a fractured left elbow on the play. Looked like a pretty dirty play. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Brooks was ejected, obviously, and the Grizzlies still get the win. But obviously, he's one of their better players. Obviously, Miranda is their star, but guys like Brooks and Bain have been a huge part of this Grizzlies team all year, and When you lose a guy like that early on in the first half, it's kind of tough to hang around. But when a guy like Morant can put up 47, it definitely helps you out.
Yeah, it was actually 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
But he's not a dirty player. It was a bad play. He obviously didn't mean it, but I mean, you got to call it flagrant 2 there. But they still pulled it out. I mean, Jaren Jackson fouled out late in that game too. Tie game, I think it was. And they battled through a lot last game.
Yeah, and obviously with that 47-point performance, John Morant joins LeBron James and Kobe Bryant as the only players with multiple 45-point games in the playoffs before turning 23 years old. That's some elite company for Ja to be joining.
Yeah, good company.
Yeah,
Love that.
That's wild. I just can't even believe he's not 23 yet.
That's crazy.
This guy's a beast. He's special.
Yeah, definitely. Did the Pelicans take the wrong guy?
Did they? I mean, if they would let the guy play, maybe not.
True.
Guy's doing windmill dunks and warm-ups and he can't play.
Yeah, they'd rather lose in 6.
I think he's okay.
Who was it that kept saying, if you can do that in warm-ups, you can give me 15 minutes?
Exactly. I don't know who said it, but
I think it was
really?
Who's the bald dude? Richard Jefferson that used to play with LeBron.
Oh yeah.
He kept saying, if you can do this in warm-ups, you can give me 15 minutes.
Facts.
It's so true,
Not
though.
false, yeah. All right, let's jump over to the Heat series. The Heat leading 2-0. The Miami Heat were able to take care of business in Game 1 on their home floor against the Philadelphia 76ers, winning 106-92. NBA Sixth Man of the Year, Tyler Herro, goes for 25 points.
Heat still without star point guard Kyle Lowry for Game 2. Could be without him for the next couple games. As obviously the Heat get the win tonight. I'm on their home floor against the Sixers, who are still without Embiid. Mackie, what do you think of this? You think this series could be over?
I think it may be too little too late for this Sixers team. You can't afford giving this team 2 wins without Joel Embiid. It's been 2 slaughter fest too, so they haven't even been good games. It's just complete. The Sixers are barely a playoff team without Joel Embiid, and that's basically who they're playing right now. So, you gotta come back and win 2 in Philly. And Joel Embiid's obviously not going to be at 100% because he's pushing this game, and I think he'll play, but I don't think he should play.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even not traveling with the team to Miami. There's optimism.
Such a bad look.
Yeah, there's optimism that he's able to join his team for games 3 or 4. And in Philly, needs to clear concussion protocols and see a doctor midweek regarding orbital fracture, per Adrian Wojnarowski. So, obviously, things not looking good for Embiid to come back and play Game 3. Phoenix Suns lead their series 1-0 against the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, Game 2 is going on right now. Suns winning Game 1, 121-114. Devin Booker going for 23 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Luka Doncic going for 45 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and a losing effort for Dallas in Game 1. Looks like a lot of the same for Dallas and Luka as they move on to the second round of the playoffs for another year. So, or really just Dallas in the playoffs with Luka, him just going off and them just not being able to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, this team is just awful without him. What an effort by 45, 12, and 8 in a losing effort. I mean, this Suns team is good, but you guys got to get him some help.
Yeah.
You shouldn't lose a game. You shouldn't lose a game with a stat line like that.
And you can't be relying on Jalen Brunson to put up 40 points every night. That's not going to be a good look for your team. You're not going to get too far. Obviously, with the Suns leading 1-0, I think they're going to win again tonight to go up 2-0. Obviously, we have Booker over 24.5 points in that game. We didn't take a pick on the actual spread or anything. I didn't love the spread, 6.5, but I think the Suns cover it if I had to pick a side.
Suns are up 6 right now.
I think the series could be over in 4, to be honest.
I was going to say, I think Suns sweep them.
Very possible. I could see that. One last thing to add, the Celtics get their revenge against the Bucks in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, defeating them 109-86. Jason Tatum going for 29 points, Jaylen Brown going for 30 points, 6 for 10 from 3, and Grant Williams coming off the bench and scoring 21. Series tied at 1 apiece.
Yeah, obviously Boston. I kind of expected that Game 2 comeback. I thought it would be a little bit closer of a game. I thought Boston would end up getting the win, though. Obviously, kind of winning in a large fashion. Giannis struggling in the first half. At one point, I saw a stat, and his field goals were not good. He only had 4 points in the second quarter. And the Bucks were down by 20, so obviously that's not a good look for Milwaukee, especially as they're without Middleton right now. I do still think the Bucks are able to go home, win Game 3 if they can kind of get their stuff back on track. Still looking to get Middleton back in the latter half of this series, so it's huge they just get a win at home, possibly two. Take this one game at a time if you're Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. But obviously the Bucks had a huge performance in Game 1, going to Boston, getting the win. So kind of catching the Celtics off guard, getting that win. So I think it's going to be a great series. This is the series that everyone wanted to see. You have obviously the highly, skilled defensive players of Boston, and obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo, Defensive Player of the Year, an NBA Finals MVP, and an NBA MVP, going up against him. Just hoping he can get his All-Star teammate back. But I like the Bucks to win this series personally.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, what a series! Whoever wins it, obviously, the other team just didn't get the calls or whatever. But it's just two teams who are pretty much even, and I think obviously whoever wins this series is going to win the Eastern Conference. But I think if Boston can steal one in Milwaukee in these next two games, then they will win this series. They just got to win a game in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
don't think they lose another home game in Boston.
Yeah, obviously they winning one of the games in Milwaukee would be big. I'm interested to see what Milwaukee comes out and does in Game 3 at home.
Yeah, this Boston team's just really, really surprised me this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the defensive side of the ball, they're elite. Obviously the best team in the league, but yeah, I still think Giannis, what he's able to do. I just think for the kind of issues that he's able to cause on defense. I mean, I know the size that Milwaukee brings. I saw something like the Celtics don't have a guy on their roster, I think over 6'10", and the Bucks have 3 guys in their starting lineup. I mean, I know size isn't everything in the NBA, but it definitely helps. So it's not the only reason I like the Bucks, but yeah, going with Milwaukee. I think it's interesting. Like I said, I'm interested to see what they do in Game 3, but let's get into a little bit of MLB. A couple MLB news to talk about. New York Yankees been on a tear of late. Past 11 games. I guess before tonight, past 11 games been on an 11-game win streak. Everything's been going right for the Yankees. The bats have been going. They've gotten the pitching that they've expected. Obviously, falling tonight to the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto. An elite team in Toronto who's 16-10. Yankees sitting at 18-7. Yeah, 2 elite teams in baseball going at it. A low-scoring game. Toronto gets the win, ends the Yankees' winning streak. But yeah, that's Mackie. I know you're not a Yankees fan. Your Mets they're doing pretty nice right now. You're getting your pitchers back or coming back.
Yeah, they're slowing down a little now, but they're having a good start to the season, as they always do. They just got to keep it up for once.
Yeah, the Mets. The start of the season isn't really their issue. Obviously, they lost today 9-2 to the Braves, but
They won that doubleheader yesterday, so
yeah,
they'll make up for
I
it.
did see that. So
But yeah, this Yankees team, it's legit, and with this roster, it should be legit. But you never know with the Yankees; they always seem to slack off. But this win streak, they seem to got it. They seem to have it this year.
yeah, they definitely look really good going into the first half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees are able to do if they can hold up this win streak and what they're able to do kind of going through the All-Star break and obviously towards the end of the season, long season. Obviously, those 11 games are just a small percentage of the entire season, but yeah, like you said, they look good. Everything's going for the Yankees right now. Jesse, you want to get into this other stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. Crazy that the Yankees win streak was killed tonight, but Trevor Bauer, 2-year suspension, 324 games for his recent domestic violence and sexual assault charges against him.
Yeah, 2 years without pay for one of the baseball's highest pitchers, obviously signing that massive deal with the Dodgers to go over there a couple years ago, and now he's going to be out for 2 years. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to come back from this 2 years from now and, still be the same guy. It's obviously going to be really hard, but yeah, it gets 2 years. That's quite the suspension.
Absolutely killed his career. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's all true, well deserved. But
Yeah.
it's just he won't come back from this. You think he can come back in 2 years and
No.
dominate like the way he does now? No way.
no chance.
So you know what? You do it to yourself. So
True that. And the 2022 MLB All-Star Game will be held at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California on July 19th, 2022. Dodger Stadium was set to be the location of the 2020 All-Star Game, but with COVID-shortened season, the game was canceled. They will get their chance to be the host for the first time in 42 years for the Dodgers organization. Should we go to this?
LA in July, it'll be a pricey ticket.
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, it will.
Yeah, but I always love the MLB All-Star weekend, I guess I would say. I don't really love the All-Star game. I really just like the home run derby, but any All-Star game nowadays sucks. They're all just for TV, but the home run derby's elite, and obviously at Dodger Stadium, the weather, it'll be a sight to see. First, I can't believe they haven't hosted in 42 years.
Yeah, LA. You would think they would be pretty common.
I feel like once they got to 39, they were like, let's just wait till 42 for Jackie Robinson. Like, why would we? They were like, why would we do it at 41? Why would we do it at 40? Why would we do it at 43? Can we just have 42? Like, it's our number for everything. Can we just do it? And the MLB was like, that would be so cool.
They're definitely gonna like.
There's gonna be a thing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much else coming out of the MLB. Obviously, so much going on. It's kind of hard to talk about on a night-to-night basis, but yeah, we'll get into our bread and butter, the NHL playoffs, as that's what we're all watching right now. We have Minnesota Wild money line tonight. They're up 3-0. First intermission, looking really good. Yeah, let's get into some of this NHL talk. Jesse, take it away.
Let's do it, boys. Couple things that happened last week that happened probably right after we recorded the podcast. Tristan Jarry, the Penguins, to miss the start of the playoffs, as we saw, expected back for Game 3. We'll see what happens on that front. Real quick, again with the Penguins, Casey DeSmith leaves the Penguins versus Rangers game in the second overtime. Louis Domingue came in and helped the Penguins secure a victory in the third overtime. He's the first goaltender in NHL history to enter a game in the second overtime or later, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. I don't even know if there's any other game going like in a playoff game where, yeah, I mean, how many games go to 2 or 3 overtimes? I guess if you looked it up, there would be a lot more than you think. But the Ming comes in, makes the saves needed. Obviously, a very tough situation for a third string goalie to come in that game. Madison Square Garden was buzzing, Game 1 of the series, but Malkin's able to get the tip over Shesterkin's shoulder. I said a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, Mackie, Shesterkin waved Malkin off the ice.
It's game one. Game one.
I knew.
Don't get cocky.
I'm not getting cocky, but I said Malkin's going to get his payback on him.
Yeah, well, he can have his game.
We'll take the series, too. Keep the change.
Yep. We'll see. Definitely haven't lost faith in my boys yet. They do got to pick it the fuck up, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the goalie situation with the Penguins right now, anything could happen in Game 2. It's obviously leaning Rangers with, the third stringer, but any goalie gets hot, you don't want to run into them in the playoffs, not predicting that Louis Domingue is going to become some, playoff, phenom story, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens Game 2 tomorrow night.
Here's the thing: when Tristan Jarry comes back, does he start?
Yeah.
Smith has been playing really well, dude.
if DeSmith doesn't start tomorrow night, I think you go to Jari game 3.
Correct.
Yeah, and Jari has also been the start of the entire season.
Jari got you where you are.
He's been out for so long, though. I mean, it's hard to put a cold goaltender in like that.
Yeah, I feel like, but with him with him, you know what I mean, not playing games 1 and 2, I feel like I don't know how close. Obviously, I'm not like boys with Tristan Jari. I don't know how close he is to being ready, but I feel like whenever they kind of set these long term, they're like he'll be back for game 3. It's home. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're like, all right, he probably could play in game 2. Obviously, the situation right now with the Penguins, if he could play in game 2, you think they would get his ass to New York to play tomorrow night, but it'll be interesting to see what they do or what Mike Sullivan does coming home for game 3. Obviously, it'll be maybe a different scenario if the Penguins are up 2-0 coming home. If it's 1-1, you know what I mean? They might try to get Jari or DeSmith back in the lineup.
Yeah, if it's 2-0, you might give him the extra 2 days of rest.
That's what I mean. They might just be like, hey, DeSmith, how the cramps feeling? Can you suffer this or can you tough this out? And if you're feeling, you know what I mean? If you even like come out of the game, it's no big deal. Give me half a game, that kind of thing. And we'll get Jari in net at home at game 4. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't take any team in the NHL lightly, especially obviously the Rangers. A lot of these teams, but it'll be a hell of a chance if they get up 2-0. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do in that scenario. But
the Rangers line is already boosted tomorrow. They're minus 155.
Wait, you said it's boosted?
Well, they're just like it was minus 135 for the first game. So
I thought you meant you were finding like an odds boost on the Rangers to win. I was gonna be like, what?
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. But what
Just
do
running
you
it
have the
up.
Penguins sitting at? What's the
plus 130. I mean, you're obviously gonna take that.
I don't know.
Any Penguins fan would at plus 130 odds.
I mean, I probably will, but I don't know.
Scary.
I honestly don't have much faith in my Rangers right now after that game. You guys just dominated us.
Dude, the first period when I texted you, I thought you guys were gonna win 4-0. So
I thought we were gonna dominate.
Yeah.
The second period, it was 17-3 in shots at one point in the second period.
It's crazy. It's crazy how in the NHL you can flip a switch and a team just starts to dominate like that. Like they can go from doing nothing in the first period to second and third period, team takes over, and obviously we ends up winning way later on, 45 minutes later in overtime. But just a crazy game. Basically played 2 games. You look at the ice time that like Letang and Fox and all those guys had.
Dude, it was north of 40 minutes.
Yeah, Letang was like 44. I think Fox was 43. He was right behind him. It was crazy. Some of the ice
It was all
guys were doing.
defensemen.
Well, the Rangers were down to 5 guys after Lindgren got thrown out for the hit on Raquel.
Yeah, those defensemen were gassed. You could tell too.
Yeah, losing one of your top defensemen too. That was huge.
How's Rickard Raquel? How's he doing?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't think
he's concussed.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing the rest of the series.
Did you see him? He had no idea where he was.
Yeah, he's not playing the rest of this series. I guarantee that. Did they say anything? Did Lindgren get a fine or anything on that, or what? No.
Not yet, but I honestly don't think he should.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it a 2-minute penalty?
It was a 2-minute penalty, but now they keep looking at videos saying the head contact. He's gonna get fined for the head contact probably.
But he didn't leave his. It's not like he left his feet. He had his head down.
Well, at the point of contact, he was in the air.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, his foot was.
I've seen it 1,000 times. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, dude, I'll pull up the video right now. You want my shit?
After contact, his feet left the ground, but it was a shoulder to supposed to be a chest.
It was an elbow to chin hit.
There was no elbow involved whatsoever.
Dude, his arm hit him in the face.
I don't think he'll get fined.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but
yeah, some other things we got to add here in the NHL. McDavid winning the Art Ross, becoming the 7th player to win it 4 times. Gretzky, Gordie Howe, and Mario Lemieux are some other names on that list. Matthews winning the Rocket Richard 2nd year in a row. first American-born player to score 60 goals this season.
I didn't know he went last year.
Yeah.
What do you have, like 55 last
I think he
year?
had 57. Because he was basically, everyone was like, is he going to get 60? Is he going to get 60? And then this year when he got close, they were like, oh, yeah, he's getting 60. He got 60 and he missed 8 games.
That's
No,
crazy.
he missed 8 games. Damn, the guy just lit it up.
Some more injuries. Capitals forward Tom Wilson with a lower body injury will be a game-time decision for Game 2 versus the Panthers tomorrow night. As we know, UC Saros to miss Game 1 and 2 versus the Avalanche due to a left leg injury. Nashville struggles in Game 1 versus Colorado, losing 7-2. They're really hoping to get him back because I think they really need him.
Yeah, they need him bad. They looked terrible yesterday.
Yeah, they're
It was
crippled.
3-0 before they could even think about it. That's kind of exactly how I thought this series was going to go, though. I think they're going to get swept.
They probably are at this point.
Yeah,
You can't believe Saros is going to come in and play a spectacular first game back.
That's just such a kick in the dick for the year that Saros had. He was so good all year.
Right?
I'd be pissed if I was Saros.
I agree. It's a shame.
Well, it's same things like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid had an insane year. Now he can't even play.
And the Montreal Canadiens star goaltender Carey Price explains how he doesn't believe his current state would be sustainable for an entire NHL season. He tells TSN.
Yeah,
is this the end of Carey Price?
I saw that and I was like, yeah, but with the situation that he went through last year, obviously missing a lot of games for, mental reasons, just saying he needed to take time away from the game. Yeah, I think this could be, we see him retire at some point this offseason.
Yeah, I think he should at this point. Just get out of there. This team's rebuilding. You had your run.
I just can't believe that.
Yeah, it definitely
cannot
is a good
believe
time.
They went to the Cup last year. I was thinking about that earlier today.
And then they won. They were the worst team in the league this year.
Crazy.
That's the NHL though.
It's the way the bracket was set up, how they had to go through the Canadian bracket, and then they just had to beat, and then they just stunned Vegas, and then they won. They were in the Cup.
Yeah, because Vegas beat Colorado.
Yeah, they just stunned. They just had to beat Vegas, really.
Alrighty, let's jump into these series a little bit more. The Capitals taking Game 1 in the Sunshine State against the Florida Panthers, defeating them 4-2. Game-winning goal by TJ Oshie. It's going to be an interesting series. I thought the Panthers would really come out and dominate off the bat, but Capitals here are showing their mark for sure.
Yeah, obviously the Capitals come out and get Game 1. We had the over on that game, not getting the hit on it. I wish it was 6. We would have gotten the push, but it's all right. We'll be back. But, yeah, as you said, I thought the Panthers would come out and kind of dominate in Game 1 and 2 on home ice, but I think you're going to see a slaughtering in Game 2.
Yeah, I could see a nice -1.5 line on that. But
well,
Cap showed out. They didn't even get outshot. They dominated the game for the most part. This team's good. This team's used to being in the playoffs. You could see something here.
Yeah, I still think Florida wins this series.
I definitely think Florida wins this series, but I don't know. It's the NHL. We've seen Tampa get swept by Columbus in the first round, so
Capitals are definitely putting up more of a fight than I thought.
Yeah, Florida's an inexperienced team, so you never know.
Alrighty. Next, the Calgary Flames take Game 1 of the first round series against the Dallas Stars, defeating them 1-0 with the lone goal coming from Elias Lindholm. Jacob Markstrom gets the shutout for Calgary with just 16 shots faced. No shots in this game. It was kind of wild, just compared to everything else. I thought there was a lot of other shots in all the other games.
Yeah, it's a crazy defensive game. This should be a good series, actually. Calgary is obviously a powerhouse of a team, but they're not used to being in situations like this with, Johnny Gaudreau, Kachuk. These guys aren't never been in the playoffs before, so Markstrom's obviously a really good goalie, so you got a good goalie behind you to make a playoff run. But Stars are not weak, So this should be a good series. I think Flames come out on top, maybe in 6 games, but Dallas will get their wins. Make it respectable.
I think Calgary wins a series. Yeah, I'm with you right there. I think Calgary wins a series. I think it's a little more in Calgary's favor. I think they win this thing in 5. I think Dallas is able to take one of their home games. Calgary will complete the gentleman's sweep at home in Game 5 of Dallas.
Yeah, it's going to be a better series than I expected. I'm happy that Dallas was able to pick it up and give the Flames
Ottinger's
a
good though.
good opponent. I
Dude,
agree.
Ottinger's a beast.
Yeah.
Robertson, like you said, Mackie, Dallas has the players. I just feel like you said, Calgary's a really good team, and I think Markstrom and net, getting 16 shots on net, you're not going to win a hockey game like that. But Ottinger only letting up 1 goal is definitely a plus.
Yeah, I mean, it was a defensive battle, goaltender battle. It will be all series, I think.
And we already talked about the Penguins and Rangers a little bit. The Penguins leading the series 1-0. Game 2 tomorrow in New York. Preds and Avs. Avs leading 1-0. Game 2 tomorrow in Colorado. Currently going on, we got the Bruins and Hurricanes finishing up with the Hurricanes winning 5-2. Carolina now leading 2-0. Lightning and Maple Leafs. Lightning winning 5-3 tonight. Series tied at 1. And the Wild leading 5-0. St. Louis leading the series 1-0. The Wild are looking to tie up the series at 1 here. Kings and Oilers tied at 0 late in the first. Kings lead the series 1-0. Oilers looking to tie as well.
Yeah, Oilers could be in trouble here, every year. They blow it every year. McDavid's got to figure something out.
Yeah, if Edmonton loses this series,
What do they do with him? He's got to like demand a trade at some point.
I mean, when they don't win the cup this year, I'd demand a trade if I were him. I'd be like, I'm too good to be here.
He's coming to New York.
Yeah, I feel like
him and Panarin.
Yeah, I don't know where he would go.
Be sick. Nah, he'd probably stay in Canada.
That's what I would think. I think he would just be like, send me to Toronto, I demand it.
Nah, he would not go to Toronto. You can't put him in Toronto. Batman would veto that.
That would be crazy, dude. I would hate it because we'd have to play them, but that'd be crazy to watch.
They'd win back to back.
I was gonna say they'd have the Golden State Warriors record 73-9.
73-5-4.
Yeah, they lost 4 games in overtime. No big deal. Matthews, the first American player to get 100 goals.
Yeah,
on a line
literally.
with McDavid.
He would. He would actually have probably 85 goals.
Yeah, at least he would have a Teemu Solana year, the 70. Didn't he get 70 one year?
Yeah. Yeah, Solani did. I think his rookie year he got 70.
Year, that's disgusting.
Yeah, but the league was fucking
terrible.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time.
Looks like that's it.
That's all I got, boys. What are you thinking?
Yeah, a lot going on. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, that's it for me. Got through everything we want to talk about. Obviously, NFL draft, NHL, NBA playoffs. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week. Stay tuned to the social medias. Looking like Wild Money Line could be a nice little play tonight. Up 4-0 right now. I know Jesse said 5-0. Looks like that got called back or something. But yeah, whenever I looked over, I saw the lights and the horn was going off. But then they never switched the 4 to the 5, so I was confused. But 4-0 right now. So Wild Money Line tonight. Only play. And then we got Devin Booker tonight. I don't know how many points he has currently, but 7. So
3 of 5 shooting.
Okay. All right, Book. Let's get a couple threes in you. Get you to the.
You got to get to 11.
Get you to the free throw line, and we'll be looking good. That's it for me. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
And that's going to do it for us this week on Hit the Books podcast. Thank you for all the support week in and week out. Please be sure to share and check out our various social media platforms and check out our website. All the info is located in our link tree in the description below. And always remember to hit the books.